overview. And at this point, I'm happy to, and Zach, if that's okay with you, maybe take 5 minutes more questions. Is that okay, Sandra? Okay. Any other questions? I actually answered a number of them directly in the Q&A, but anything else come to mind? Feel free to type it into Q&A or to chat.
One of the things that we were receiving some questions about were English requirements for both like international students or students that may have a passport from an English-speaking country. How would that work?
Yeah, great question. And I think that this will depend on the university. So I'm happy to share WashU's policy and then turn it over to Zach. But beyond that, definitely look this up for each university that you're interested in. At WashU, we do require English proficiency testing for all students who are not US citizens and who studied outside the United States. Now, that, again, can be the TOEFL, the Duolingo English test, or the IELTS. And actually, before the pandemic even started, we piloted a process that allows international students to apply without SATs or ACTs if they have that English language proficiency testing, as well as evidence from either an IB diploma program or national curriculum grades, stuff like that, that can provide evidence of preparation. Does that answer the question, Sandra?
Yes, yes, I think it does.
Perfect.
The main point to keep in mind, and we always remind this to our advisees, make sure to check the specific requirements of each school that you are interested in, because it varies from one to the other.
Yeah. Zach, do you want to comment on, or you posted your website and your
I actually shared a link to schools will have websites like this and web pages like the one I just shared. So those are going to be great resources for you. Yeah. Most of what Victor said applies to Notre Dame as well. There is a section on the link that I said that is test scores and lays out the different suggested levels and exams that we accept. And also, if you do maybe qualify for a waiver because of other exams that you've taken. So. But yeah, I saw a question come in the chat real quick. Compared to other universities, Notre Dame presents what level in STEM, and I would say absolutely, top notch. Notre Dame is absolutely going to provide you incredible resources. We actually have an incredible segment kind of our engineering school called Notre Dame Nano, or ND Nano. So it specializes in nanotechnology. We have one of the largest clean rooms, meaning there's basically nothing in the air other than air. Just because of the incredible work that we do in ND Nano. Certainly environmental and sustainability engineering is all there. Electrical, chemical, mechanical, aerospace. We have one of the nation's largest, I think, university-run wind tunnels on our campus, and wind turbines, or wind tunnels. So like Boeing, the airplane manufacturer, will sometimes send its scientists to Notre Dame to do research if their kind of wind tunnels are backed up. So certainly a lot of great STEM opportunities at Notre Dame, as well as WashU and our peer institutions. Certainly we're going to challenge you in that way and give you great resources.
We also have a question about the sports scholarships.
Sports scholarships, athletic scholarships. Yeah, absolutely. Zach, do you want to start with that?
Yeah, I'll take it. And so Notre Dame competes in what is known as Division I. It's kind of the top collegiate level. We do offer a lot of scholarships for our athletes. I do not have a role in that process. If you are interested in being recruited, we do list most of the contact information for our coaches on our website. They do all of that, and then they will help you kind of through the admissions process. It is not a guarantee of admissions or anything like that, but the admissions office does not recruit or hand out scholarships. And then Victor and WashU are a little bit different structure for athletics.
Yeah. So our division is called Division III, which basically means that we don't offer athletic scholarships. So all of the scholarships that we offer at WashU are academic or financial need based.
And we have Lucia asking, and this is a question that we get a lot. Should I apply like an undecided major if I don't know what major I exactly want?
Yeah. And it's Lucia?
Yeah.
Lucia, that's a great question. And absolutely, right? I can't remember the last time that I heard the statistic, but I think it's something like many US college students will change their majors about on average 3 times. Okay, I was going to say 5, but somewhere between 3 and 5. And that happened with me too, right? Because you discover new things and new interests in college. So it's totally fine to apply undecided. But at the same time, if you know what you want to do, it's totally fine to share that as well. Because what will happen, right, is if a student is interested, let's say, in studying something like economics, that will help us when we're reviewing that student's application to say, okay, has this student taken, economics involves some math and some social science? So has this student taken coursework that's challenged them in these areas? And that can help us, kind of advocate for a student. But if you don't know what you want to study, that is totally okay.
Yeah, US universities are very, very flexible in this ability. For example, at Notre Dame, you actually apply as a first year student. You will put down a major or kind of an area of interest, but you're actually a first year student under the first year advising office. You actually do not move into one of those colleges or schools I showed in my presentation until the end of your first year. You'll have a dedicated first year advisor. They'll ask you questions like, hey, you indicated that you were interested in finance on your application. What else might you be interested in? Let's make sure that we can get you a couple other courses during your first year to see if you want to add a major to finance, or if, let's get you a finance course to see maybe you don't actually like finance. Maybe you're more of an economics person, and let's get you, figuring out where you want to be. And so very, very flexible. And yeah, the average college student is going to change majors at least 3 times. We're built for that, not just at Notre Dame, but at WashU and our peer institutions. We have a lot of flexibility. Now, if you knew you wanted to be a doctor when you were 4 years old, great. We can get you rolling on that too. If you knew you wanted to be a doctor at 3 years old, I'm sorry, we have nothing to help you with. But if you knew at 4 years old, we've got you. We can definitely make sure that we get you rolling and get going on those majors if you know what you want to study. But if you don't know what you want to study, that is absolutely okay too. We will help you figure out what it is that you do.
A couple of more specific questions related to the admission process. On the one side, we do get a lot the question if Cambridge exams are accepted, because they are very often taken here in Europe.
Yep.
And then something more specific regarding the translation of transcript. Excuse me. Do you prefer them an official translation, or do you allow for the students to translate them themselves?
Yeah, so
I'm sorry.
I'm happy to start with the Cambridge exams. They are among the examination scores that you can submit instead of SAT or ACT scores at WashU, but they aren't required if you do have standardized test scores. Zach, I don't know if you want to comment on that first.
The Cambridge exams are actually not one of the ones that are used at Notre Dame, and I'm sure that's probably where the question came from.
Got it.
We are always looking at things, but at this time, Notre Dame does not use the Cambridge exams for English proficiency. We did add Duolingo in the last year. We were one of the early partners like WashU. So, that might change, especially in the world that we live in. But at this time, Notre Dame does not use the Cambridge as a method of English proficiency.
Yeah. And then the question about translations of transcripts, great question. Here's the first thing that I want to share is, again, a reminder that you have great advisors with Education USA. But a second point that I really hope that you remember, you do not need to pay someone to translate your exams or to translate your transcript if that is a financial burden for you. You are welcome to send us what you have, or have your counselor send us what you have, so that you don't have to pay. And I work with someone who speaks 7 different languages, and usually we can figure out a lot of things between people in our office. Zach, do you have any difference there?
No, I'd say, it's helpful if you can translate, but yeah, you don't need to. And even if you submit the official copy and you submit a translated document, that'll work for us too.
Yeah.
We need the official copy at some point, but even if that's still in Spanish, that's okay. You can even just write really quickly. Like we're still going to see the numbers and the grades are what they are. That'll be fine. But yeah, you're definitely gonna have some great resources. And it looks like Sandra's got something pulled up.
Yeah, I don't think we have many more questions as I'm checking on the chat box and the Q&A, and I don't want to keep you a lot more here. I know that all of you have busy schedules, but I just wanted to remind all of the attendees that we do have a lot of resources posted on our website. As you can see, we are within the website of the Fulbright Commission in Spain. So you can check specifically for Estudios de Grado. We have a whole section, both for complete undergraduate studies and if you just want to do an exchange for a year. But in the section for Titulaciones de Grado, you can see many of the points that we have discussed here today, also explained in Spanish if you need to share this information with your parents. You have step-by-step everything described, and you have also access to these specific documents that include some of the resources that the speakers have shared with us, and that you can access directly through here. So I just wanted to remind you about everything that it's available there for you, and of course our contact form for any questions that you may have. I think we have a final question, Victor and Zach, if you want to close with this one.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I see Lucia's got another great question. If you're doing the high school in the USA dual diploma via online education while also doing bachillerato in Spain, do you need to take an English proficiency exam? And I think that'll probably depend on the exact situation, because I can see that being very that could work or it could not, depending on the individual circumstances. That is a great question to send to me in an email with some further information, or send to Victor in an email with some further information, and use us as resources. That's a great example of a question. I don't want to say one way or another, just because it could go either way, depending on the exact circumstances. So again, when you have these kind of questions where it's a little bit unique to you and your experiences, that's what we're here for, and we're here to be resources. Victor, do you have anything to add to that?
I think that that's exactly right. I do know that, Lucia, you would still have to submit English proficiency testing, but I think it's always smart to reach out for that question directly.
Any final points?
I think that that's it. It has been such a pleasure to be here with you all. Sandra and Nanor, thank you so much for organizing this. Zach?
Yeah, thank you so much for coming out this evening and sticking around. I know we went a little bit long, but we hope we gave you a lot of great information. I think to summarize this, the college process is what you make it, and it should be as much about learning what you what's important to you as it is trying to get in at a university. That's not the goal of this. The goal of this is to find a place that you're going to be successful, happy, and really get to know yourself and leave college a better, more well-formed person, an individual. And if that's always in the front of your mind, the college discernment process for the United States will be some great opportunities for you to learn about yourself, and it's exciting. I'm a dork, I guess, in some ways. I'm an admissions person. I loved the college discernment process. It can be stressful, but it should be some fun and should give you some great insight into yourself as well. If you have any further questions for us, though, our emails are there. Please use them. We're here to be resources. And again, thanks to Sandra and Education USA, as well as Nanor, who I think had to duck out for hosting us. And thank you all for coming out today.
I think there's no better way of closing that with that reflection, that this also should be about fun and about learning. So remember, all of you, that you have us here as a resource. Thank you so much to Victor and Zach for your time, for being here today, and for the extra time that you have spent with us. We really appreciate that. And well, you know where we are if you need us. Thank you, everyone.
Stay well, stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.